Too hard to train, less competent and prone to health problems. These are just some of the myths that hold employers back from hiring older workers. Well, our next guests are on a mission to shake up the stigma. And with our Treasurer Joe Hockey announcing a possible new retirement age of 70, there is no better time. Lisa Annese, Bryan, Landis are here in the studio, and joining us from Brisbane is Judy Higgins. Thank you all for being with us. Lisa, you're from the Diversity Council. Stack of research on this. What's the biggest myth that holds older people back from getting a job?
Well, the myth are people's perceptions about what older workers can and can't do. The perception that they can't learn new things, that they're not adaptable, that they're unreliable, that they'll take lots of sick leave, and the research just doesn't support that. In fact, the research suggests that older workers are more productive, take less sick leave, and are not more inclined to have accidents at work. So the research does not support the myths.
Well, Bryan, let's go to you. Reliability is a big one, isn't it, for employers? And they do think older people are more prone to health problems. What do you say to that?
It's not true. It's not true. Older people need their jobs, need to work, and they will turn up. They will turn up, and they will turn up even when they're not feeling 100%, because they appreciate that work is important. I do 7 days a week when the work comes in. I'm there 24/7.
Is it a generational thing, do you think, that,
yes.
that elderly people just know the value of working hard?
The younger puppies don't have the same work ethic.
Well, it is dangerous to generalise, but we know what you're saying. Judy, you run a website specifically to help older workers find employment. Tell us about that. How did it all come about?
Yes, we do. My husband was working in sales with a large company, and he was retrenched when he was in his mid to late 50s. It took him 2 years to get another job, and he had excellent qualifications. He had a very good sales record, so there was really no reason. He applied for job after job after job, and always got in the final few. Got a lot of interviews, but never got the job. He ended up driving a truck, which was totally something that that he hadn't done previously. So he did that for a couple of years, and then he and my son were talking one day, and my son said to him, well, why don't you start a jobs board, especially for older workers, which he did.
It's a brilliant idea. And Lisa, you know, women particularly in the 55 plus age bracket tend to be undervalued in the workplace, but you say they could be an employer's most valuable asset.
Absolutely. The research reveals that if an employer taps into its older workforce, we estimate that they can save, or their return on investment is about $2,000 a year per individual staff member, that's made up through reduced absenteeism and increased productivity. So it's a really valuable, underutilised resource.
Absolutely.
Bryan, many people are a bit upset, outraged almost, that Joe Hockey is talking about raising the retirement age over 70. How do you feel about kicking on?
I'll work till I can't get out of bed. I mean, where's the money going to come from to feed me if I don't work?
Well, if you don't get out of bed, there's no. If you're not going to work, there's no reason to.
No reason,
get out of bed.
And your health goes backwards. If you have to get out of bed and go to work, it keeps your health.
The show must go on.
You've got to work, yeah.
That's an interesting point. The research shows that mental health outcomes especially are good for people to stay engaged in the workplace.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you so much for joining us. It is fascinating. I think older workers, more productive, fewer sick days.
No finishing line.